up and it ended. My bad. We're gonna pick up right where we left off though. I don't know what happened. I don't know why my stream just fucked up like that. That kind of pisses me off, but whatever, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna get back into this. Okay, during a single weekend in May, agents in Yemen intercepted 1,600 migrants. So many people around the world saw their standard of living slide backward. It's no surprise that they would jump at the chance to get into the U.S. when they hear that others have managed to cross the Mexico, had to manage to cross from Mexico successfully. Bro, I could not fucking read for the literal life of me. I can't read. Okay, whatever. Said Andrew Seeley, I don't know how to pronounce that, president of Nonpartisan Migrant Policy Institute. I saw some of the same dynamics in 2019, he said, but it was on a much smaller scale. Opportunity and despair. While most of the migrants do not necessarily understand the intricacies of U.S. border policy, many said in interviews that they perceived a limited time offer to enter the United States. Friends and family members already in the country, along with smugglers eager to cash in, have assured them that they would not be turned away, and this is proving to be true. Well, yeah, like, we can't just turn these people away. These people literally travel months and months and months and spend so much money and do all this shit just to get to the border. Of course, you're not gonna turn these people away, and you're a sick fuck if you ever do turn them away. What the hell's wrong with you? But we're hearing back home that the new president is facilitating entry, and there is demand for labor. Said Rodrigo Neto, who came from Brazil, where the pandemic killed his business and left him overwhelmed by debt. I couldn't pass up this opportunity. Mr. Neto, 55 years old, shuttered his electrical shop, sold his car, and gathered up his savings to pay for the journey. Like many people in Brazil and other countries ravaged by the pandemic, he was unsure to get a visa to enter the United States. Instead, he flew to Mexico City and then Tijuana, where a driver working for a smuggler's network met his group. They were then ferried to the side of the road. Mexico, across the border from Arizona. They said they were deposited on recent mornings. All right. From there, it took them just 10 minutes to reach the country road in 8, where the border control agents stood near an opening in the wall. Each week, between 1,200 and 1,500 Brazilians are flying into Tijuana, but it's not for tourism. Jody Hice, a Republican congressman from Georgia, said on Twitter after being briefed by the Border Patrol during the recent tour of the border. Like, remember when I said a while back that it should be the United States' responsibility to help less fortunate countries? This is one of the results that happen when those countries don't get help. They start immigrating to our country. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I know a lot of people do think that's a bad thing. Hence why I'm saying that. While the U.S. government attempts to swiftly send back immigrants caught illegally crossing the border under an emergency pandemic health order known as Title 42, Mexico has refused to accept immigrants from South America, Asia, and Caribbean. In many of those cases, those immigrants have been released in the United States with a notice appear later on immigration court, a practice that is acting as a new magnet. Title 42 has created massive businesses for cartels, said Alex Miller, managing attorney for the Florence Project, an immigration legal aid authorization in Arizona. People who enter between ports and entry have increasingly gotten through, particularly in Yuma. Most of the long-distance migrants have been crossing in the Yuma sector, where openings in the fence. Blah 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 blah. But some migrants have been scaling into reinforced 30-foot. Probably bouncy right, blah blah. Where Mr. Trump. Accommodating the surge. A huge tent has gone up in the parking lot behind the Border Patrol headquarters in Yuma to accommodate migrants taken into custody who have been interviewed and undergo background checks. Some are transferred to Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention, but most are simply being released to a nonprofit aid centers where they spend a day or two before traveling to join with friends and relatives elsewhere in the United States. Measures imposed under the Obama administration, such as fitting migrants with ankle monitors to ensure they attend court hearings, are only, okay, it's barely used. Good job, Obama. I'm being sarcastic, right? Don't take me fucking serious. Okay, along the gravel road, hearings, okay, south from Yuma, okay. Signs of recent crossings, okay. Water bottle shirts, beanies, a rattle are abandoned. Blue backpack was filled with disposable diapers and baby clothes. In one spot, 2 mattresses were parked against the U.S. side wall to ensure soft landings for migrants willing to take a leap. Jesus. On one recent morning, 2 families from India made their way across the border, the men with their arms raised, the wives and children following behind. One family said they hoped to reach Georgia. The other was Florida bound. Christ, dude. Entire fucking families, my God. Jesus. Okay. They had flown through 5 countries to reach Mexico City, where they had boarded a bus to Mexico to the U.S.-Mexico border. Okay, we're connected to coyotes. Yeah, we already know what's happening by now. Close behind them came a Cuban man headed for Miami. A few minutes later, a little girl with a Mickey Mouse sweater dangling from her wrist came through with 3 adults, headed for Boston, where friends and jobs awaited. Then came the Gomez family, the ones who had came from Venezuela, dragging wheeled bandages. Mr. Gomez's wife, Natasha, held her 3 grandchildren and wept. In Venezuela, there is no food, no electricity, no medicine, no work, she said. And motherfuckers wonder why people immigrate to the U.S. It's like, bitch, what do you think? What do you think? Use your brain for a second, all right? Border Patrol agents checked with documents and jotted down names of migrants who to escape. Okay, blah, blah. Soon as the van arrived, okay. So, this is the update I got on immigration to the U.S. So, sorry, I'm stretching. So, obviously, you can see now a lot of people from different countries are coming here, such as India, Brazil, countries like that. Part of it mainly due because of the coronavirus and the pandemic. COVID has completely butchered businesses and butchered home life and their home countries, hence why they're coming to the United States for a better opportunity at life. So I'm done with this. That's my update. I honestly don't know what else to say besides that. But we're gonna move on away from this. We're gonna move on to this. So I saw this. I thought it was interesting. So that means we're gonna talk about it. Okay? This is about police officers being shot, alright? We're gonna get into it. 2 suspects. Okay, suspect shoots 2 officers before being fatally shot in Birmingham, Alabama. Sweet home Alabama. Okay, a man believed to be responsible for 2 early morning murders in Birmingham, Alabama, opened fire on 4 police officers Sunday afternoon, striking 2 and gazing 2 others, according to the police. Okay, the unarmed assailant was fatally shot by police officers during the incident, and injuries to all 4 officers appear to be non-life-threatening, which is a good thing. Birmingham police spokesperson Ron Molden said the Birmingham police initially received a call at approximately 6:30 a.m. local time about a shooting in a park. Interesting. Officers arrived to find a woman laying on the ground suffering from an apparent gunshot wound, and a man who had been shot lying on the sidewalk, according to Molden. Okay. The woman was rushed to an area hospital where she later died from her injuries, and the man was pronounced dead at the scene. Police received information that the fatal shooting stemmed from an altercation over a dog. Witnesses told police the suspect shooter was an adult white male wearing a red shirt and overalls, Molden told reporters on Sunday afternoon. So, this shootout happened. So, again, police officers were responding to a shooting, and the shooting was happening because it was over a dog. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god, dude. Okay, they obtained a search warrant for a nearby apartment where they had reason to believe they would find the man responsible for the early shootings. Officers from Birmingham Police Department's Tactical Operations Precinct arrived at the apartment and were immediately met by gunfire. The officers returned fire, fatally striking the suspect. He could not say whether anyone else was in the apartment at the time of the shooting, but was confident that the man who fired upon officers Sunday afternoon was the same man who shot and killed 2 people earlier this morning. The initial altercation stemmed from a dog, but we don't know the actual reason for the murders this morning. This individual was responsible for 2 murders that occurred here. The Alabama State Bureau of Investigation will take a lead on the investigation of the officer-involved shooting, according to Mullen. So I think this is the same thing, right? But I want to read this just to see if there's more details in it. Blah, 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 blah. Search warrant, 2 officers were shot, 2 officers were gazed by gunfire. Yeah. Officers returned fire and killed the unidentified suspect. Yeah. The wounded officer did not make any life-threatening. Okay. The good thing though here, kids, the good thing here is that none of the officers were seriously hurt. The officers all survived. Put down your pitchforks, calm the fuck down. So, you might be asking yourself, we're gonna read this too, alright? But you might be asking yourself, why the fuck do I care about this? You might be wondering, why am I covering this story? What for? Well, I'll tell you why. Because of gun violence. This motherfucker literally killed 2 people because of a dog. You know how stupid that sounds? It is too easy to get access to a gun because people start fucking shooting people for dumb reasons like that. If you're fucking pro-gun, which means most likely you're pro-police, why don't you help protect police officers and ban guns? Alright? Guns are literally hurting police officers too. Alright? There. That's what I have to say about it. We're not done with this. We're going to continue to talk about this. 2 officers are among 48 people shot in Chicago in a violent weekend. Alright? A violent weekend in Chicago left at least 48 people shot in separate incidences, including 2 police officers who were wounded on Sunday morning as they responded to a shot spotted or detention alert, authorities said. At least 5 people were killed in a rash of shootings between Friday and Sunday morning, according to the Chicago Police Department. Incidents reported. Interviewed by CBS News. Police said 6 children under the age of 17 were among the victims wounded, including a 2-year-old girl who was sitting in the back seat of a car when she was hit by a bullet fired from another vehicle. 2 14-year-olds and a 13-year-old were also shot and wounded in separate incidences, according to the reports. Let's pray for our city, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot said on a news conference early Sunday morning. We've got to put these guns down. We've got to stop the flow of illegal guns in our city. Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown appeared with Lightfoot at the news conference to release details on a shooting around 7:19 a.m. Sunday that sent 2 officers to the hospital with gunshot wounds. One of the wounded officers was hit in the shoulder, just above his bulletproof vest, and the other officer was shot in the hand. Brown said. He said both officers were being treated at the hospital and were enlisted in good condition. Brown said that when the officers arrived at Lawnwood neighborhood on Chicago blah blah, they spotted a person in the alley. As the officers approached the person, the individual turned around and opened fire without warning, prompting a light fire. The superintendent said the shooter, whose name was not immediately released, was shot in the lower extremities and was being treated at a different hospital. It just underscores the danger of our men and women in the police department face every single day. They run to the danger to protect us, and we can't forget that. Brown said the shooting marked the 29th time this year that Chicago police officers had been shot at. Why do you think they're being shot at? Because they have guns. Get rid of fucking guns, dummy. It's not that hard. He said Chicago police officers have been wounded by gunfire in the first... Look, if you're pro gun and you like give a shit about the police officers and like you're like I love police and you're one of those people, literally get rid of guns then to protect police officers. If you don't want to get rid of guns to protect innocent teenagers who are get involved in fucking school shootings all the time, then do it for police officers, okay? At least do that. In the past 15 months, he said 16 Chicago police officers had been wounded and another 92 were shot at. The police department's latest computer statistics on crime or combat, okay, released May 2nd, that shows there were 865 shootings in the city during the last 3 months of 2021, a 33% increase over the time span of 2020. Shows that 195 murders were committed in that city during the last, okay, blah, blah, a jump of 22% from the time period of 2020. And why do you think that is, huh? Explain. Sunday episode came amid shootings erupted over the city. Okay, blah blah. Shortly after, the 2 officers were wounded. The 13-year-old boy was shot in the head and neck. Okay. Chicago police. Okay. Police said the boy was taken into hospital in critical conditions, standing on a sidewalk where a car pulled up and one of the occupants opened fire. No arrests had been made on the boy shooting. The child shooting came after a 2-year-old girl was shot while riding in the rear seat of a car in Little Village neighborhood in Chicago's West Side. Police said the shots were fired from another vehicle. No arrests had been made in the incident. The girl was treated at the hospital and listed in good condition. 2 men were killed. 2 men were killed and 3 were wounded in a shooting that broke out at a party just after 3 a.m. Bro, literally, like, just pure gun violence. Just so many people being killed, dude. And like, if you don't care about that, like, you're crazy. Again, I'm covering these stories to talk about gun violence. Alright? Again, if you're a fucking bootlicker and all that, at least fight to get guns off the streets to protect police officers. If you're one of those people, alright? Just do that.